As of January 1st, 2023, there have been a ton of reports out there on the cost of having children until they're out of the house. And a lot of these studies are from birth till age 18. And the studies found over the first 18 years, average cost per child for a middle income family was around $290,000, give or take, depending on the source. So here's the scoop on how house hacking can help mitigate some, most, or all of those expenses during those 18 years using our 5 house hack properties we've been using in our examples over the past couple of weeks. A reminder on these 5 house hack properties, each year we purchased a $200,000 property with 5% down at a 6.5% interest rate over 30 years. And we did these back to back to back for 5 years. And to keep these videos from being repetitive and long, I'm just gonna jump into these examples. But if you'd like to know how we got these numbers and these calculations, be sure to go check out my previous videos where we kind of go in depth in all of this stuff. So scenario 1, the first 10 years. After 10 years, our equity in each of these 5 properties came out to around $92,000. Meaning if you sold before fees, you have around $92,000. And we house hacked for 5 years. So now we have 5 properties. After 10 years of owning each of these properties, we have $92,000. Okay, each child costs around $290,000 per 18 years. By the time your child turns 10 years old, in theory, we could sell the first 3 properties after their 10-year time frames, and with $92,000 in equity for each of those, it would cover around $275,000 worth of expenses. So that's about $14,000 short of the average $290,000 per 18 years, or per child over 18 years. But if you're cash flowing on each of those properties over those 10-year time frames, cash flow, even at $100 per month, puts you way over that $290,000 amount. Or you could sell that 4th property and have some extra cushion. If you decided to sell all 5 of those properties after their 10-year time frames, in total, you're looking at just under $460,000 in proceeds. That's a remainder of $170,000 that you could put towards a college fund, a retirement account, or if you find that you like being a landlord and what rental properties have to offer, that $170,000 left over can be rolled into another property. And be sure to check out my video on the 1031 exchange if you'd like to have these proceeds or this equity that you just received deferred to a later date and not pay any tax on those gains. Okay, so you might be thinking, I want 2 children or I want 3 children. Here's scenario 2, the 20-year time frame. The cash flow from each property at this point should be helping cover some of those expenses that come with having kids. If you're a hyper investor and got some good deals when you purchase these first 5 house hack properties, the cash flow could be already covering a majority of those expenses, especially by year 15 or 20 where your rents have increased over time. But if you did decide to sell after 20 years on each property, your equity is looking around $220,000 per property. Almost identical to the first scenario. You could sell your first 3 properties after their 20-year time frames and collect around $660,000. Now, assuming you have 2 kids, if each child costs $290,000 over those 18 years, you should have around $80,000 left over. If you have 3 kids and they all cost $290,000 per 18 years, those 3 kids will cost around $870,000. Selling that 4th property will give you around $880,000, leaving you with $10,000 left over. You've got $220,000 in equity in each property. Take that times 4, $880,000. Now, if you decided to sell all 5 properties after covering all of the expenses of your 3 kids over those 18 years, selling that 5th property will get you an additional $220,000 to put towards whatever you want for them or for yourself. Of course, again, I have to remind you that the market fluctuates, interest rates fluctuate, and obviously the cost of living fluctuates as well. These are all variable and subject to change at any time. The examples and these calculations are just to keep things simple and show you what it could look like in a perfect world. Always do your due diligence and evaluate your current situation before making any of these kinds of financial decisions. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Hope you found value in it. If you did, please like, subscribe, share this with somebody who might be having kids or is thinking about having kids or just had a kid. Doing something like this might change their life. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.